Hello. Today we are going to be talking a lot about co-teaching and collaboration for professional development. We're just going to be looking in depth a little more about what professional or what co-teaching and collaboration is and how we can incorporate it into our classrooms. So first things first, I want you guys to go fill out the Padlet that is linked into all of my links. It's going to ask you, if we take it here, it's going to ask you for anything that you know about co-teaching and collaboration. So one or two items that you can remember about co-teaching. I know we've probably heard about it before, but it's probably still maybe a newer topic to us. So I want you to go there and fill out this, and you can also heart other people's if you agree with them, if you remember the same thing they did, you just didn't remember it off the top of your head. I'll give you about 5 minutes to recall some information, write it down, and then you guys may come back. Okay, so now we are going to be talking about what is co-teaching and collaboration. First, I wanted to start by saying that co-teaching and collaboration go hand in hand with each other. Most of the time, if you are co-teaching, you are also collaborating with another teaching professional. So before I go a little more in depth about what co-teaching and collaboration is, I want you guys to go watch the video that is also linked. It should just say video next to it. It's about 5 minutes long. To get there and get back, I'll give you guys about maybe 6 minutes to do that. Okay, welcome back. So what we learned in that video was that there are 5 co-teaching models. There are actually 6 co-teaching models, but 2 of them kind of go hand in hand. The one is one teach, one support. So as you can see here, and we know from the video, the one teach, one support is one teacher is teaching the majority of the instruction. They appear to be an imbalance of power. So the teacher up front has most of the power since they're the one teaching. Support teachers provide an extra pair of eyes. The other teacher is just circulating the room. They assist, they support the teacher. With this one, I would say that it's more of one teach, like one is observing kind of. The one in the back may be helping with discipline. They may be walking around helping the other student. This one is the one that they combined. So it's sort of close to the one teach, one assist, which is not on here. They said there's only 5, but there is 6. The one teach, one assist is pretty much the same thing where there's one teacher instructing and one teacher is just assisting that teacher. So again, there's still that imbalance of power. They're very similar things. That's why they only put 5 in here. The second one that I'm going to go to is the alternative teaching. So this one is one teacher is managing the majority of the classroom. And then the other teacher is teaching small groups outside of the classroom. So students who have missed assignments have the chance to catch up. Finding space can be difficult. So this one's hard. It can be good for those students who have missed things, maybe are a little bit behind for some reason, to kind of get them up to speed. Another sort of co-teaching is parallel teaching. So this is when both teachers deliver the same lesson, but the class is split into smaller sizes. Each teacher gets to take ownership of their leadership and planning, and teachers can easily separate students. So this one would be one teacher maybe at the front of the board using the whiteboard, and the class is right in front of them, and the other teacher may be in the back using the kidney table. Only problem I can see with this one could be one teacher's teaching too fast and the other one's not, and the kids are getting distracted by the 2 teachers trying to teach. Another one is team teaching. Instruction and planning is equally shared. Teachers must trust each other, which that one could be hard if you don't trust your partner. Both teachers are equally respected. Students feel a greater presence with both teacher working together. So they should feel that both of them are giving this same amount of information. This could be hard as well, just because we all know sometimes with like group projects, even that one may try to take over more than the other, and that's kind of where you got to trust your partner. And then the last one is station teaching. So one teacher could be teaching math, the other one could be teaching science, and then there's an independent station. Students are engaged in all small groups, and it requires much time to pre-plan. So you have to figure out if the independent station is going well, but then like the higher students are getting done super quick and the lower students are not, what are those higher students going to do? Because you don't have time to stop what you're doing in the science lesson to give these students extra instruction. So just making sure it is all planned out to the exact detail. So next I'm going to have you guys actually read an article. It's actually pretty lengthy, but what I came to find about it is that we can relate to it so well. The article is under the documents again, and it's under article link. You might have to sign into your DONE ID, which is just fine. It's going to load here. Okay, so it's called Co-Teaching Collaborative and Caring Teacher Preparation. So this is all about the mentorship between co-teachers and collaboration. Like I said, it's pretty lengthy, so I'm going to give you guys about 10 to 15 minutes to read it and then come back. It talks a lot about like traditional co-teaching, kind of where it originated from. It kind of talks about student teacher, and it actually has a study done at the end. So I'm going to give you guys about 10 to 15 minutes to read it. Like I said, it's pretty lengthy. I've said that about 3 times now, but I want you guys to read it, but you don't have to read it word for word. Just kind of skim over it. It has a lot of good information, so skim over it and look at the information given to you. Welcome back. I hope you guys found that article interesting. I hope you guys found lots of good information about it. My favorite part of the article personally is talking about like ethics in it. They're talking about the relationship you need to have with your co-teacher. And then it kind of started talking a lot about student teaching, which as we all know, student teaching is very prevalent in our lives. And it just talks a lot about how as like a student teacher, you should be working together, planning together, co-teaching with your cooperating teacher. And you should have all of those things. You should do all of those things together. It's talking about, so the main purpose of education is obviously to teach the students new information. So that should be your guys' main goal. It also says somewhere in here, I'm not sure where, but it says something about teachers should almost be like in a marriage when they do this. You have to be on the same page at all times. You have to be okay with being wrong or okay with disagreement and fix that somehow. You guys should be in perfect harmony. You guys should always plan together, talk about what went well in lessons, what didn't go well. You should always take time to plan, because that is the most important part. You cannot come unprepared to a co-teaching lesson. But this article I thought was very, very informational. I thought there's a lot of good information in it, and I really like the study that was done. I feel like a lot of people try to co-teach and are unsuccessful because they don't have the right materials to use during this. Next from here, we are going to go to an interactive website. It is what co-teaching is. I'm actually going to go to the website and show you a few things before I kind of let you loose to go look on your own.
If you work in a team, you've got...
Sorry. So interactive website, you're going to go here. So this website is all about how to co-teach, what kind of cooperative planning you need, consideration of special education in the process, barriers to co-teaching. Barriers part is my favorite because we're all going to ask ourselves what could go wrong. I want to show you guys one video before I let you loose, and it is called Bad Co-Teaching. So I want you guys to just watch the video. I'm just going to pause it there. I just want to talk about this really quick before we go any further. Obviously, you can see here, there's no words explaining why it's bad co-teaching, but we can all kind of make inferences. We have one teacher just sitting around, laying down, putting earbuds in, eating, doing all those things that teachers probably shouldn't be doing, especially when one is in charge. It makes it really hard for the other students to listen and learn to that teacher. So I want you guys to go here. There's lots of links. I just want you to explore for about 10-15 minutes. I want you to focus on the page where the link takes you, but I also want you guys to be directed over here to co-teaching additional models. They have an intro and then 3 other models other than this one that go along with co-teaching. I think they're all very, very good resources and can help us start the planning process to co-teaching and do's and don'ts, things you have to think about. But I want you guys to just first go here, take some time to go through it, take some time to look it all over, the ABCDEs of co-teaching, what you need to know. And then if you have some extra time, explore these extra models. So I'll give you guys about 10-15 minutes to kind of do that. Welcome back. I hope you guys found a lot of great resources to help you use it in the future if you guys decide to co-teach. I do want you guys to fill out a Google survey just telling me what's something interesting you found on the site, something that you saw that maybe you even knew, but you were like, oh, this is good. I've never thought about it like this, something interesting you found. The next one is just one thing you learned about co-teaching from the site. So it's something you never knew, maybe something that you found that you could use in the future. And then one barrier to co-teaching that would make it hard for you to perform. So looking at those things that were barriers or bad co-teaching, what is one thing that you feel like would be hard for you to do? I want you guys to take 5 minutes to go fill this out. Doesn't have to be anything too extravagant. Just kind of put your thoughts and feelings down to it. Okay. I wanted to talk about the bad co-teaching again, just because I think that it's something that probably a lot of us think about first before we dive in. Co-teaching is a great resource for our students. We have 2 teachers in the classroom, so we can perform to the needs of the students more than we ever could. I think that some of the things that can be taken out of context are like the one teach, one support. Uh, the teacher that is supporting shouldn't be going around, just helping one student or like distracting other students. I think that that teacher should be interactive in what they're doing. If a student has a question, maybe answering it and then bringing it to the whole class. That if it's a good question, I also think that in one of these we should be taking data on the students. So the teacher and the support come together for a meeting and let's just talk about what we need to accomplish, take notes, do notes and observations, and get all of this good information on the students so that you can further your guys's steps in co-teaching and collaboration. So you can sit down and look at these notes and say, okay, so it looked like half the class wasn't engaged half the time. So tomorrow, let's do this instead. So where do we start? I mean, there are so many ways to start, but obviously the first one has to be the planning process. You guys have got got to plan together, and it has to be extensive plans. So if you're not willing to plan, if you're not willing to collaborate with your teacher, or you don't want the teacher that you're paired with, don't do it, because that's only going to make the learning process harder for the students. You can always ask others teachers how to start co-teaching. You can ask principals, you can look it up online, you can research to help you find good ways to start co-teaching. It all starts with you two and what you guys want to go. One person's co-teaching is not going to look like yours. There's 6 different ways to co-teach, so you have to figure out what's going to be the best for the students, what's going to be the best for you. Um, Obviously, we know that there is growth in being uncomfortable. And so we want to make sure that that growth is actual growth and it's not, like kind of taking advantage of the time that you have teaching the students. So based off of your guys' learning, I want you guys to go to the flip grid, and I want you to make, the maximum is 3 minutes that I put on there. I want you guys to make anywhere from a 2 to 3 minute video telling me and your other or peers how you would incorporate co-teaching into your classroom. Tell me if you would. It's okay to say, I don't think I would incorporate co-teaching in my classroom, but then I want you to explain to me why. What is making you scared? What is holding you back? If you're all in for co-teaching, maybe say, I think that parallel teaching would be best for me because. Tell me why, give me information on why you think what you think, and then we will meet back here in about 5 minutes. I'll give you guys time to think about what you're going to say, but it doesn't have to be super professional. I just want you to put a video in telling me what you think you would do in your future classroom if you could. Okay, welcome back. I just wanted to explain my thoughts on the whole co-teaching thing because I know you guys all have really great thoughts and we're all going to be teachers here. So I think everybody's opinion is important, and even to watch your guys' videos is going to be really important for us because maybe you have an idea that we never thought of, and that's some idea that we want to take into our own classroom. And then I want you guys to look back here on the screen. So I think that team teaching would probably be my go-to because team teaching is, for me, it feels a lot like what I do for student teaching. Sometimes I have a day where I'm like, talking to my CT and I'm like, this is going to be a hard lesson for me to teach. I just don't know the right words. I don't have a routine. And so me and her will kind of go back and forth explaining to the kids what's going to happen. And I'm just going to say, I think the most important thing is that you have to be on the same team with your co-teacher. You guys cannot, if you guys don't trust each other, if you don't let that other person work their magic as well as you working your own magic, it's not going to be a very successful lesson, and it's not going to be a very successful experience for those students. And like I said, our main goal is to making sure those students are learning and getting the information that they need. So I think it's very important to make sure that you're trusting your teachers or your teacher. And once you do that, then I think that you guys would have a great time teaching. And I think it would be very successful as long as you're planning and getting all of those plans into practice. So I just wanted to thank you guys for coming to watch this professional development on co-teaching. I know a lot of us have probably learned about it before, and we kind of talked about it more in detail today. I think that it's more prevalent today just because we are looking at the next years of our lives. We are going to be teachers here soon. We are going to be taking what we know and using it in the classroom. And I think it's really important to know all of these methods of co-teaching, especially because I know that as a soon to be special education teacher, I know that I'm going to have to be in the classroom with a general education teacher. I'm going to have to be preparing plans with them and seeing what I can do in the classroom to help my students. And it might not look like the traditional co-teaching, but it still is co-teaching. Students will receive that throughout their whole lives. And I think it's important to know how you're going to move on from there. I think it's important to have these co-teaching thoughts in the back of your head, just so that if you are like nothing is left, you don't know what to do about a certain subject, a certain plan, time, whatever, you can maybe pull one of these out of your head being like, oh, it would be awesome if you could observe today and take these anecdotal notes on my students because I just don't know what's going on, and then you get more information on them. It's all about what you need. So I think it's important to store these in the back of your brain just in case they might come out in the next few years as we are starting our journey on being teachers. I also just really wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. I found these funny pictures on the web, and the first one says, ask co-teacher to do discipline, co-teacher distributes candy. Like I said, we got to be on the same page. We can't have one nice guy and one disciplinary. You got to be on the same page with those. And then the face that you make when your co-teacher says they're not coming into work today. So I thought these were just kind of funny observations and depictions of what co-teaching is really like. I hope you guys enjoyed and had fun researching about co-teaching and how to add it into your classroom and maybe how to look at it a little bit differently. I hope that sometime in the future you guys can look back and say, oh, I learned about co-teaching and collaboration with a peer of mine, and somehow incorporate that into your classroom. Hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day.